into positions of hopelessness and helplessness. The government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America. No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
What'd you roll?
A 1.
Oh, well, that's good if you're playing threes.
Snake Oys.
Sneak Boys.
Amazon
yeah.
warehouse.
Weird. I'm from Oakland. Yeah, Oakland. Ooh.
Open today's show with a poem that I found. This woman, Sydney Ember, is very angry that Bernie Sanders went to the Iowa State Fair and like didn't talk to anyone.
Oh, I think I saw that.
This is what she wrote. Des Moines. I'm going to read
Des
it in
Moines.
the Des Moines.
Des Moines.
It reminds me of the Royal Tannenbaums. I'm going to try to do the Alec Baldwin voice. Bernie Sanders examined the butter cow. He walked by the Ferris wheel. He gobbled a corn dog. He spoke to almost no one. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
You're supposed to.
And then there's just
Stephanie
Luke Wilson
says.
cutting himself in the background. That would be a good meme if you took a screenshot of that and then just did that picture of him doing that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great for 15 people.
Cutting
Welcome back
his
to
wrists.
America's premier meme workshop podcast.
Yeah, talk it out.
Talking out memes in an audio form
Yeah.
so you can imagine them in your mind.
You see, it's two gentlemen shaking hands, and one of them says Bernie Sanders, and the other one says cutting yourself.
And the one arm with the
Yeah, it's
cutting
not-
yourself has
it's-
got blood coming down.
Yeah. No, it's not it's an arm wrestle situation. It's not shaking hands. What are you talking
Oh, I
about?
thought they were doing,
no.
like, they're doing like
That's too-
powerful bro handshakes. Yeah.
Okay, I guess
that
it is.
meme is two tough guys like, we're friends now.
I thought they were sort of fighting with
See,
each
you've
other.
never
like,
had a masculine friendship on that level, dude.
I'm-
Me and Jake do that all the time.
I'm such a fucking cock.
If they're kneeling, it's called a hard style.
Yeah.
You get down on the ground in the front of a picture and you bam, you grab it from the hand. It's fucking tight, dude.
Poor
Yeah, you have to
style.
you have to swing for it, just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fellas.
It's a fucking tight gangster move.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I bring up Bernie Sanders because he's
Bernard.
They're just slapping him around in the media right now.
They're slapping him with the butter cow.
They're giving him the shit. They're mad at him that he looked at a butter cow and they ate a corn dog and he spoke to almost no one.
Who's
And
going to pay for the butter cow?
they're also he's so mad how much it costs.
pay for the butter cow?
A waste of butter.
How many millions of dollars in American taxpayer money goes into this cow every year in butter?
And they're also giving him shit over criticizing Jeff Bezos, saying that yelling at Jeff Bezos, that's like something Trump would do. This guy's exactly like Trump.
Yeah, that's mean as hell. Oh.
He hates the media, and by
He
that I
hates
mean
him.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, the man who owns everything.
Yeah, you can't get angry at Jeff Bezos. That's like being, or Jeff Bezos doesn't get angry. That's he's like getting angry at a compact Presario. He's just he's just a computer. You just like, the computer isn't going to feel anything.
I think you should probably get angry at Jeff Bezos.
Oh, no. Everybody should be angry, but like he's not going to feel anything back.
Are you saying that
he doesn't feel?
In the
like,
same way, you should be angry at God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. God's going to be, yeah.
Does he deflect it or does he absorb it like a Black Panther suit?
He's like a duck. It just washes off of him.
Duck.
It washes right off of him like the rain.
He has such a smooth body that
Yeah.
it deflects the
He does have a
compliments.
smooth
It just
body.
runs down him like oils that he applies every day to keep his life long-lasting and smooth.
He's got a corkscrew dick.
He does.
Do pigs
And
have corkscrew dicks?
They do.
pigs?
I'm not sure about
Ducks
pigs.
do.
Ducks
do.
definitely
Yeah.
do. That's like a kind of that was like a turned into a bro talking point. I feel like after a while, it kind of like
That ducks have
bacon.
a genitals arms race?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
A
I
lot
feel
of
like
people still don't know, though.
I know. I think it's like right there.
It's
Did you
important
say
to raise awareness.
genitals arms
Armor-
race?
Yeah.
There's a crack.com article about it. Check it out. Friend of the show, crack.com. Are you sick of going to the post
Post
office
office.
to learn about ducks fucking each other to death?
Yeah.
Go to check out crack.com. They'll
Check out-
mail you your free scale.
Check out crackgold.com.
Check out
toasty.
crack.com.
Yeah.
Oh, you just did that bit. I follow you now.
Yeah.
That took me a whole minute. All right, well, fuck it. Let's begin.
Woo!
Pa damn America, bitch. It's a Goth Socials podcast for fuckers. I'm Jake Flores. That's Alex Patak.
And I'm also Eminem.
Patacula. And Danny Feltz, special guest. Welcome back.
Hello.
Ride in the back of my Patacula.
Yeah, exact. There's a fly in the sour spaghetti right now.
There's fucking flies everywhere. Is there spaghetti out here?
Yeah, don't eat the sour
Oh,
spaghetti.
no,
There's
just the
flies
sour
in there.
spaghetti.
Oh.
Also, it's not spaghetti, it's spaghetti. It's
Sour
S
spaghetti.
S''G heady.
It's a kind of
Fucking
gummy, and
GMOs.
it's covered
Yeah.
in flies.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the fucking.
Slam in the back of my patacula.
Danny, I am to understand you're going to tell us a whole bunch of shit about Amazon today.
Yeah.
Sick.
Jeff Bezos and Amazon.com are, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like my anime. You know, I've paid attention to him for like the past like couple years, 3, 4, 5 years now, and I feel like the same way people are just like, did you see who charged up in the last episode?
This seems
It's
like a targeted narrative.
And I'm also like, look what he did the other day. So like I've had my eye on Jeff Bezos for a while, and
Yeah, you got into Jeff Bezos as a teenager when you were horny and didn't know what to do with your aggression.
yeah.
He does kind of look like Frieza.
Yeah, he has very strong Frieza energy.
He does have Frieza energy. A fact that I know, not because I watch anime, but because I have enough friends who tell me about anime.
Mandatory plug for my Dragon Ball Z podcast. Jake's behind the paywall next week.
Hell yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Good for you.
And there's no Katie.
Yeah, no Katie's allowed.
She's never, not ever.
Allowed in the same room.
Yeah, what the
Yep.
fuck?
It is forbidden.
Verboten. Yeah, so I would say about a year and a half ago, I like actually was like, all right, really take a deeper dive into this. So I read 2.5 books, and
Damn.
I know, right? And this one book twice. Once the audiobook version, the regular version. And
wow.
Yeah, I know, dude. And just actually for context, my sources in this case are, I guess, the struggling New York Times.
Sad.
I know. Listen Liberal, which is a great book.
That's a good book.
It's a great book. And also The Everything Store by Brad Stone.
Is Listen Liberal Thomas Frank?
Yep.
It is. It is.
I remember reading that and thinking I should make some notes about the shit they're talking about on Amazon.
I know. There's a part in it that you'll probably remember, and it's like very much a part of this whole thing.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Thomas, that guy's great. But anyway,
He yells the book at you. It's awesome.
Danny,
I
thanks
know.
for reading, so we don't have to.
I know. And I did the Twitter episode. That guy, the source I did for that was also Brad Stone. So the same guy who did the Everything Store also did the Twitter thing that I did.
This guy's really just snitching on the most powerful industries
Yeah.
in America.
No, the funny thing about Brad Stone is, though, from what I can understand, he's not like us where he's just like, look at these fucks. He's just like, I'm a neutral source, and it is truly difficult to talk about them in a positive way. I am very, very like, he's friendly with all these people, you know.
I'm here at the warehouse and I'm saying, look at these fucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Jeremy Scahill. Look at these fucks.
Look at
these
these
fucks. Oh, no.
fucks.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I did. And also I would just point out as like a precursor to all this that I am a film studies major who loves writing essays and a comedian. I am not a like tech expert the way some people probably are, like Brad Stone. So if there's any like weird little inconsistencies or whatever, I tried. All right, I tried my hardest, and all the points are valid. But if I mess up a date, don't yell at me.
And ladies,
yeah.
he's single.
Yeah. I hope
Yell at us. Yell at Anders.
I hope you like antique fan restoration.
Ladies.
Yeah.
It's also important
Who's
to note
wet?
Not me. I got this fan. I'm all dry.
he's wildly tall.
Yeah. So This is sort of like cut into kind of like 3 general parts. There's
Recently, Danny suplexed the Bagel Boss. Popular online video.
There's like 3 parts. There's 3 parts of this basically. When it comes to like tackling Amazon, there's sort of their relationship to Seattle, Washington, where HQ1 is headquartered. There's like what Amazon's been sort of doing in the last 6-ish years, about thereabouts. And then there's a whole chapter or like a whole portion of my little talk or whatever that is exclusively dedicated to just how weird Jeff Bezos is.
I love it.
And that he's a smooth little freak.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
eats iguanas and shit.
Yeah, like I had 5 highlighters that I used when I was marking up my copy of this book, and everything in blue was Jeff, and there was a lot of blue.
Again, Danny is single and available. 5 highlighters.
5 highlighters. Yeah.
You should try to go out with his ex-wife.
Yes. That would be lucrative for you.
She hates him.
Yeah, I don't.
She's also rich as shit.
Yeah, that's actually if we can. I mean, if here's a nice little primer, just to like give the whole idea. If anybody has any, like, is still just like, no, I think he earned his money or whatever like that. I truly don't think, if you feel that way, that you understand the enormity of the power that Jeff Bezos has. He's been charging up forever.
Everyone has given him their energy.
Yeah, no, he
his
has.
Spirit bomb
and
is massive.
Yeah, and when I first did the research for this, he hadn't gotten divorced from Mackenzie Bezos yet. And they did this past year, and she instantly became one of the richest women on the earth. Like, I believe she has like $40 billion, like $20 to $40 billion, something like that. Like that's how insane this man is, where it's just, if he divorces somebody, immediately
they're
huge.
now a major player on the international stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. If he hits you with his car, you could own a country the next day.
No, exactly. I think the last time I checked too, he's worth about this changed because he's worth about 115 right now. He used to be worth 150 billion at his like absolute height. Then he got divorced, and now he's at about 115. But he's still like definitely more than like Uruguay.
He had to move to a small, like a divorced guy billionaire apartment where it's still somehow he's thawing hot dogs in the sink, but it's like a really nice sink.
Yeah.
He did buy a new home recently, and it was the one in Washington, D.C. that is like one of the biggest houses in D.C., specifically to court Congress people.
He's like, I sleep in a race car bed, but it's actually a race car.
Yeah. I think when we did the billionaire episode, I maybe have said it to give any people scale.
You definitely said this on the billionaire episode, but you can say it again.
Yeah. Just to give people scale about like how much $1 billion is, or how much money Jeff Bezos has. He could shit in a brand new Ferrari every time he needed to shit. If he lived from 0 to 100, if he lived to be 100 years old, he could do that every single time. And this is assuming he takes 3 bowel movements a day, and he would still have $80 billion left over.
A normal amount to shit. For sure. The amount everyone shits 3 times a day.
Yeah, I am giving some liberal shitting ability.
Especially someone who definitely only drinks meal supplements.
Look, maybe it's on average.
At some point, he would eat some exotic fish and get diarrhea, food poisoning, and then just be plowing through Ferraris that week.
I need more. More.
This is where the third Ferrari a day, like it evens out statistically.
Yeah. $1 billion is $1 billion is a lot of money. 115 billion is completely absurd, and I think as of right around now, him, Bernard Arnault, and Bill Gates, they're the 3 centibillionaires on the world.
I don't think it's a
now.
big issue for our listeners, but anybody who's a billionaire's got that bread type mindset, usually just doesn't understand how much a billion is because the human mind like can't picture it.
Oh yeah.
That's generally the political problem people have with the whole issue. Is they're just like, he earned money. They can't imagine like how big the sun is compared to the earth.
Yeah, but that literally happened to me last week in Seattle with my mom. I was fucking like complaining to her, and she's like, "Well, he earned his money," and I'm just like, "This is a fucking problem."
It's hoarder shit after a while, right?
Say what?
A hoarder shit. It's like a mental illness. Like once you're that far in to never needing to pay for anything again, just to want to keep going.
The way they're framing an argument is like, if you earn money, you should be able to have your own pool. And then you see the pool Jeff Bezos has, and it is the English Channel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You can never own that. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's completely. We'll get more into Jeff later for sure, but yeah, like I said, so much blue highlighter.
Start us at the beginning.
All right.
Yeah, so I think the best way to sort of kind of understand why Amazon is bad is to look at like a very loose history and quick history of Seattle in general, because that's where Amazon is. Because one argument people will often make is like, wow, well, Amazon, it's like, so good for the local Seattle economy. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. This is so good that this is happening because we have all this stuff and people buying shit now. And
that's like the Amazon River, but for books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I'm just imagining a book river.
Imagine a river of books. That's what it's like. Imagine books flowing.
Yeah.
Bookfish. Imagine that. How's that?
One time when I was camping, I took a shit in the Book River, and no one noticed.
And a bear caught a big old first edition of Moby Dick right in its mouth.
Jeff Bezos is so rich, he could shit in a new Book River every day for 100 years, and it still wouldn't cost all of his Amazon money.
Yeah. So I guess where I'll start actually is right around the 1900s. Okay. So we're in Seattle. Wow. Brand new city. Cool place. So many evergreen trees. Along comes a man, though. A little German man, actually. And his name is William Boeing. That's right.
Ooh.
William Boeing. Yeah.
Boeing?
He's from, he's from Detroit.
Boings.
Yeah. Boings. Yeah. He's an Austrian immigrant from Detroit. His father was a fairly successful and involved in lumber and mineral production. And eventually William Boeing did the same, but in the Pacific Northwest. And he starts making airplanes under the name Pacific Aero Products. Right around World War I, starts making a bunch of planes for the United States government.
Nice.
First situation happens, antitrust stuff, 1930s.
Oh, come on.
Immediately his shit gets blown away because turns out he started making all the planes by himself, and those three corporations basically got split into like the Mail, a version of the Mail, like a private plane thing, and then United Airlines, oddly enough. That's where United Airlines came from. Yeah. Way back then.
Wow.
I know. Weird, right? And I say all this.
Spirit Airlines was founded by a guy from Florida.
Yeah. Wait, really?
No, I don't know.
That makes that clocks.
My name's Leonardo Spirit. Can I have $5?
Yeah.
If you got a wine cooler, you can get on my plane.
Yeah.
I don't care, man.
Man, you got a chair. Bring your own stool, dude.
Oh,
Pilot's a gator, man. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude. It's Cajun.
Yeah. This is also kind of fun too. Between 1935, William Boeing and his wife Bertha set aside a large
Bertha Boeing.
Bertha Boeing, yes, yeah. They set aside a large tract north of Seattle, kind of where I'm from, Shoreline, Washington, in the Richmond Beach, Richmond Heights, and in the Sardin area. And the Boeings racially restrict covenants on their land to enforce segregation, forbidding properties from being sold or rented to any person of the non-Caucasian race, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the reason why am I talking about Boeing?
Why am I telling you this?
Why am I talking about Boeing in this Amazon episode? Well, the reason for that is because Boeing was kind of like Seattle's first real like industry child, because once World War II happens and the 1950s happens and like the big industry thing opens up, or it's just in the United States in general, Seattle like invests in Boeing really heavily. Like a large amount of people.
Put it all on planes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
But that's our Space Needle money. Put it on planes.
Yeah, no. And this happens from like the 50s into the 70s, right around an event that's known as the Boeing Bust, which resulted in Seattle's largest economic depression since the actual Great Depression. Now, granted, there was some economic depression in the United States in general in the 1970s, but it hit
Everyone
Seattle.
was in their 20s.
Yeah,
They all had depression.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix was being born, all that
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, they were all sharing that article from last week about mental illness and anxiety, and someone speaking out about it in time. Finally.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's this huge industrial boom that happens there, and
I miss my planes. So depressed.
and in 1968, Boeing employs 100,000 plus people in Seattle, but by 1971 it drops to 30,000 people. So we essentially let one giant company dictate a city's growth patterns, and when you throw all your eggs into one basket, boy oh boy, do you expose yourself to like real big risks. It's real bad. Quote, by 1972, Boeing had laid off machinists, managers, engineers, secretaries, and had saturated the local job market. This is also when they first deployed the first anti-suicide net on the Space Needle, which is very fun. This is I think an even bigger thing to mention is right around this time, Seattle had a really, really big opportunity to grow quite a bit. It was called the Forward Thrust movement, essentially. And
Some sort of great leap forward.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Why would you throw yourself off of the Space Needle when you could climb to the top and then slit your wrists with the needle?
Most baller death of all time.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking tight, dude.
That's how Godzilla's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
He's sticking it in his dick.
Yeah.
Into sounding.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted.
That's good. That's really good.
I've been practicing my Godzilla, actually, because I really like the movie. I like what it stands for.
Yeah. But my point being is right around this time, Seattle's has this really great opportunity to like really level up, as they'd say, and like move forward and stuff. But we go through this economic depression of sorts, and we can't. Like people are all just like, no, we won't accept these terms, and we can't spend any more. Like
Ordinary folks, they can't level up.
Yeah, no, ordinary folks. I won't allow you to level
They're
up.
stuck farming hogs in the forest. They're level 1. They haven't even classed up yet.
And it actually shows itself in like very real ways. Like if you've ever been to Atlanta, they have a subway in Atlanta, Georgia. It's called MARTA, and that was supposed to be Seattle's. Like the federal government had set aside funds and were just like, yeah, if you guys have the money to help pay for this, we'll pay half of it too. And we couldn't. So we would have had like sound transit like 40 years before they started doing that, but couldn't pay for it.
Did they think they were just going to have a plane subway?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like
You're just getting little planes?
Yeah, it's like a real Elon Musk thing.
Cool.
Just like we're going to drive the planes real fast and land them very fast too.
I'm going to bore a tunnel in the sky for the planes.
Yeah. Long story short with that, though, Boeing essentially lays off half its workforce between 1962 and 1970, and this is a big deal because of the giant economic downturn. And again, this is very much like a proto topic to why I'm talking about this, because as it currently stands, Amazon is like far and away one of the biggest employers, if not the biggest employer in the greater Seattle area. And it's not only implicitly implied, it's like very explicit that like the minute Amazon figures out any kind of automation, just like so many jobs lost immediately. It's not like with Boeing where it's just sort of like, yeah, the Second World War stopped and we had to stop making planes so much, blah, 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 all this thing. It's like very much built into the DNA.
Okay.
That they want to just like, that Jeff Bezos is incredibly ruthless with this kind of stuff.
And there's you're saying there's like a very obviously forecasted second, much harder depression that'll happen after automation?
It's like, look, I don't know the future.
It's already super automated already, though, isn't it?
I mean,
It just isn't Boston Dynamics machines running around putting stuff in boxes. But
Are they going to have to put a second net up?
we need more nets. They're learning how to dive farther. No, and that's the thing. I'm not even talking about the distribution centers necessarily. I'm talking about like the AI learning that goes into just being a white collar worker at Amazon. Because as it stands, like Amazon employs a lot of people who just sit behind computers all day and work stuff. I'm going to have a juicy story for you in a second, actually.
Oh, what?
I'm going to have a juicy story about that in a
Look
second.
out, we're recording.
Yeah. But a lot of the sort of ethos of these
Bezos.
of these tech guys, and especially a guy like Jeff Bezos, is he's an incredible his brain. He doesn't really feel human emotion the way you and I do. CISO?
Yes.
He's canceled.
Jeff CISO.
He's canceled.
Because he's canceled.
He's canceled.
He doesn't feel
He's
emotion the
canceled.
way humans do. He mainly feels it by sunning himself on a large reflective rock.
Yeah, and
a lizard.
yes, he's from New Mexico, actually.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's a smart joke.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I think the obvious connection to make is one that you did mention was like, yeah, the blue collar workers. What if the robots replace them? It's like, yeah, that's very possible. That's on the horizon potentially. But another thing is
Andrew Yang tried to warn us.
yeah.
He did.
But
he was urging us to abandon the earth.
we need to move to higher ground. A thing he explicitly says, which is like not a bad idea necessarily.
Yeah, for the 6 people who will get there, it's a great idea.
Exactly.
Only Jeff Bezos will have a great time doing that.
Yeah, which is another thing we'll get into later as well.
Don't eat those. There's been flies on
Those
them.
fly spaghettis have been.
You're going to get fly spaghetti.
They're not bad. Jake is drinking out of a pitcher of water. Yeah, my point is that if you think that the blue collar workers are the only ones who are at risk here, I think that's a little short-sighted, because Jeff Bezos doesn't think empathically. He thinks efficiently. His whole fucking thing is 2 things. Efficiency and the customer. It's explicitly stated so many fucking times in this book that I read, essentially, that Jeff Bezos, his whole thing...
That's how you get money, man. My whole thing is 2 things, man.
Yeah,
You're still on one thing, you got to have 2 things, dude.
Yeah. Which leads me... yeah, he doesn't like paying people. I can assure you, he doesn't like paying people. And the minute he can automate white-collar jobs, he will absolutely try to do so. Because, that's why... the whole we need to teach people to code thing. It's just like, yeah, you're trying to make a job market so it's less so you don't have to pay him as much.
Yeah.
It's like once a machine learns how to do that,
and they will.
Yeah, game over, man. Like, it's not good.
In a roundabout way, isn't the biggest sector of employees that Jeff Bezos is going to lay off with automation truck drivers?
That's probably, yeah. That's a big, yeah. Oh, dude, they have beefed with UPS and FedEx. Like, there's a whole thing
it's
about
on site,
dude. It is quite on site. There was a point in time where Amazon.
I'm imagining Jeff Bezos telling someone it's on site.
No, they at one point in time, the United States Postal Service was delivering so many Amazon packages that they it was either FedEx or UPS. It was one of the two. And it was one of the ones that are unionized as well. Amazon and Jeff Bezos were basically like, we want lower rates now. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, all right, I'll pull every order that we do through UPS, and we'll only do it through the post office, and they did like a boycott almost, and UPS caved. They had to. They caved because
the entire industry of boxes.
I know. Yes, this is what I'm saying. He's too powerful. That was just that was a cursory thing. But onto that hot juicy goss actually. I have to be incredibly vague here because it is a little bit NDA-y.
You probably can't handle it because it's too spicy.
It kind of like goes into my next part of this talk, which is Amazon is a bad place to work and is folks, it's bad.
It's
you
bad,
don't
you're saying.
say.
Yeah. I know a person who used to work at Amazon in Seattle.
Let's call him Manny.
Let's call him Manny Del. No, I full disclosure, I've never worked for Amazon, but I did know a person who worked there, and unfortunately, you're going to just have to take my word on this because I will not reveal their name or who they are or anything like that.
Do not ask Danny to reveal his
Please do not.
sources.
Yeah.
He's an ethical comedian.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. But I did know somebody who worked there, and I think there was a big push after the New York Times articles came out in 2015 where Amazon was like, we're not bad. It's not that bad. It's just competition. There's a lot of competition, folks.
It's wonderful. Look at it. Look at the trucks.
The person that I knew who worked at Amazon.
Turkey. Remember you did that?
What?
Trump says something insane like every 5 minutes.
I thought you were.
Turkey,
I thought you
yeah.
were Biden for a second.
Well, they both do that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a song I didn't know about.
No, man, there's this great clip of Trump at one of his own rallies where he just talks himself into a corner and he just starts going chicken turkey.
Chicka Slim Shady.
And people are like, yeah, sure.
Folk, what's my name?
He's like Grandpa. Yeah. So
What's his wife's name? Kim. She's a bitch, folks.
She's a bitch. Look at her. I'm going to kill her and her whole family.
Yeah.
She's a bad man. She's a bad man.
It'd be funny if he came
Donald
out-
Trump.
He just has M&M hair from now on.
He shaves it and it's blonde.
Yeah, he has the tight, bright blonde haircut. Man, he could look good.
It would be so funny if he just tried to change his hair and then not address it, like somebody at your office or something who's like,
I've never had it. I never had my hair before. What are you talking about?
My mother is a loser.
Loser.
Donald Trump.
Bye-bye.
So I knew a person who worked at Amazon, and this person actually was a contract worker, which is one of the big things I will touch on a little bit more later. Amazon, they like to say, we pay our workers a lot. It's top notch. We just ask they work hard. One thing Amazon does not disclose is how many contract workers they are, which is essentially what you and I used to do, Jake, working for the apps, kind of. It's not that
allegedly.
loose. Yes. But
I don't know why.
He's making dog eyes, folks.
It's a satire podcast.
Nothing is real in this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is a satire podcast.
Amazon is good, actually.
Yeah. This person, though...
Trump does have M&M's.
They worked.
Folks, you forgot about Pence.
I like the yellow one personally.
The yellow M&M.
M&M's.
He's the big one. He's got a
strong.
He's got a peanut inside it.
I regret ever bringing this up.
I like the pretzel ones.
The blue one. She's beautiful.
I like to touch her.
The green one. Yeah, you catch my drift.
I like to suck them till they're all brown,
Man, this is the juiciest part. This person I knew used to work at Amazon, and they worked as a contract worker. They don't release how many people are contract workers, which is, really makes you think.
Where are the documents?
Yeah, exactly. Where are the documents? And this person told me that on the floor that this person worked at, they had what were referred to as meditation or relaxation rooms. And the company tried to advertise them as like, yeah, go in here, when you need like 15 minutes off, or you just need to take a little break, go ahead and just, do some meditation. First of all, nobody ever had any time off, so the rooms essentially remained empty most of the time, except when people would go to them to cry. People would go to the meditation rooms and routinely cry in them.
Holy shit.
They became weeping rooms.
The sorrow chambers.
They were sorrow chambers, very much so. And then people started fucking in the cry room.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was waiting for it, dude.
Yeah.
You can't have a cry room I'm not going to fuck in.
Yeah, dude.
Never talk about that.
Yeah, you got to stack my boxes in there.
You can trick your heart rate monitor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Soon they're going to have to automate the fucking in the cry room.
It's just 2 robots in
It's
there
like
fucking.
it's like Futurama where they have the suicide booths,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that juicy little part right
I'm
there.
sorry, Futurama came up earlier.
I'll get more into that later, just in general. But at this point, I'll actually start talking more about Amazon's their day-to-days and some a quick history of them. They were started in '94 by Jeff Bezos. I should note actually, Jeff Bezos decided to do books as their initial startup thing, not just because he liked books or reading, but because books are all organized by an ISBN number on the back of them. So they're incredibly easy to categorize. And 1994 was just when the internet was starting. We all remember the AOL dial-up. We all remember all, going on and checking our mail and stuff.
Playing Slingo on AOL.com.
Yes, exactly.
Talking to other children in a chat room where we try to have sex with each other.
Yeah, asking them how big their tits are. 2 12-year-old boys messaging each other.
Looking at websites on GeoCities.
Yeah, exactly.
Angel Fire.
So Bezos decided to make Amazon because he worked at I don't know if it was on Wall Street, but it was in the financial. He lived in New York. He was a trader. Yeah. He worked at in the financial trade industry, essentially.
See, this doesn't surprise me at all. If you told me that he was like a construction worker for 20 years and then became Jeff Bezos,
That's
that would
right.
surprise me.
You offended my construction worker friend over there.
But he did work. He worked for this company called, I believe it was D.E. Shaw. This guy was his mentor, essentially.
My name's Deshaw.
It was one of the
I'm the inventor of Spirit Airlines.
This is like one of the first times that people know, you can kind of trace back to Jeff and how he is, because D.E. Shaw especially. It was they insisted upon calling it D period space E period Shaw, and every time somebody did it without the periods, they would be like, "You wrote it incorrectly."
There's periods. There's periods in it.
Yeah, and Amazon for a long time, Jeff would always say it's Amazon.com. Amazon.com, Amazon.com. And eventually, after the internet became a more ubiquitous thing, he was like, all right, now it's Amazon. But, he insisted upon calling it Amazon.com.
Okay.
What a bitch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he is a bitch. He's a big bitch.
How did somebody who sucks that hard at the internet, become this powerful? 'Cause that's like a move where you're like, it's HTTP/...
Well, he knows you suck at the internet, and that's why he says it, because he has such little respect for people.
I guess this was during a time when it was actually a real possibility.
Yeah, people would be like, Amazon, what is that? Some kind of Best Buy?
What is that? Some sort of Circuit City? Remember? But...
R.I.P.
Yeah, he did have some insight into this stuff. D. Shaw, the thing they emphasized in essentially is a kind of pre-internet stock trading situation. Something that they would do actually is they would find stocks through basic algorithms that were a penny cheaper in Europe than they were in the United States, and they'd fucking buy a bunch of them there and then sell them in the United States. It was he was first. This is first taking advantage of algorithms and stuff like that.
Okay.
So Jeff Bezos had
I love taking advantage of algorithms.
I know he had go on.
It's one of my favorite ways to become more powerful.
He had the insight though, or at least quasi insight, to be I need to start selling something on this, because there was an internet store. There were no internet stores at the time.
The internet was invented to store Homestar runners.
Yeah.
Because we had too many of them and we didn't know where to put them.
Yeah, so like he essentially is like, I quit D.E. Shaw. I'm moving to Washington, specifically Washington, because wherever your home base is that your company is centered in, your customers of that area have to pay sales tax to your thing. And he didn't want to move to a major population center like New York or California, because if you do that, then that means everybody in either New York or California has to pay sales tax.
But there's this airplane graveyard way off in the corner of the country.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And at the time, anyway, Seattle was less populated, much more now. But yeah, so he moved up here and he started Amazon. The first couple years, real and true clusterfuck, like in the purest of ways. He was very, very involved in the machinations of the company. He wasn't just like a CEO who just sort of like started it and was just sort of like, whatever, I'm gonna fuck off and let a manager do it. No, he was like there. He packaged books. Like he did all this shit. He did all of it. When Amazon actually got going, their whole dynamic distribution was so fucked up that in the 1999 holiday season's a big deal at Amazon, by the way.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's not okay to make fun of it.
Yeah.
Some people love holiday season.
Some people absolutely love it. In 1999, their whole distribution was so fucked up that there was a
You
distribution
got something to say about the holiday season?
Yeah.
You meet me in the fuck cry room.
We'll bang it out. well, proclivities will be explored.
The first one to get busted down by this robot loses.
Who do I get dicked down by a robot?
Great visual image of two robots just side by side, fucking two dudes staring at each other.
Yeah.
Angry eyebrows.
Two compact Rosarios. Yeah, there was a distribution center in Georgia, and what had happened is one single box, an entire distribution center had found its way like out of sync with the whole thing. So it's like every time somebody ordered from it, it fucked up orders. It made a whole cluster of things get fucked, essentially. And that box, it took them 3 days to find a single box in one distribution center of constant looking, scouring this place. And the box was one box of plush Jigglypuff toys.
Oh,
I know, right?
That rules.
I know, right? Isn't it cool? Yeah.
Antifa Pokemon.
Yeah, the one you never suspect.
Yeah, essentially, I like this. The way that the story is told, essentially, is like one employee came into the manager's office, just like with the box over his head, just like, like, he was like, "Oh my god, we found it!" Like
a bunch of Jigglypuffs.
I know, it's great.
What do we win?
Yeah.
A box of Jigglypuffs.
I'm gonna jump around a lot, by the way, just because the history of this it's just
Get
the way
up.
it is.
It's the
Get
90s.
up and
People
jump
love
around.
jumping around.
Yeah.
Have some Pringles.
Why is that funny to me?
It's a hit song we all love.
So, there's growing pains in Amazon essentially from when it starts to 2008. But eventually it stabilizes and it keeps growing until 2008. And then the recession happens, though. And a lot of things like fucking go down. Washington Mutual, that bank just gone immediately. And Amazon essentially is in this place where like they're not profitable. They're not. I should mention they've been running at a debt. They've run at a deficit every fucking year that
Really?
they operate. Yes, they barely break even, if that. But they just keep growing the market. Essentially, they keep grabbing bigger parts of it.
Yeah, that's what all these companies do. They operate at a loss until they corner the entire market.
Yeah,
They can
exactly.
Make it all back once.
Well,
they're
I know that
monopoly.
happens now with all the websites and social media platforms. So I kind of thought because they were selling actual tangible things, they were making money.
Well, they were probably expanding at a rate that would like counteract that.
True, they were doing Akira transformations.
We did an episode about him like a year ago where we introed on that weird like thing when he's on the
the
Tonight
clip
Show.
Of him on the Tonight
And he's
Show,
like, there's like a Doonesbury cartoon about this.
Oh my god.
And they're like asking him
I'm
about
going to
this.
space.
He sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens though is like once 2008 hits, everything that Amazon is doing is starting to affect Seattle in a lot of ways. Like they have become a major employer in the area. The whole Seattle dynamics of like how the city function starts to change. Instead of being like a relatively cheaper place as it was in the 90s and early 2000s, it starts being like $750K for a house, $2K to rent a two-bedroom, 57 people moving to Seattle every day, with only 18 units being built every day. The homeless population explodes. Absolutely explodes.
They can't afford the $750,000 houses.
No, they can't.
How many podcasts do you need to start?
Yeah.
Get one of these houses.
You should talk to Kath Barbadorbo about that. But look, she knows how many podcasts she has.
There's a joke about her having a lot of podcasts, not affording a $750,000.
Yeah. I have no idea what her financial situation is like. Kath's fine. She has a lot of podcasts.
She has a lot of podcasts.
She's rich in content.
Yeah, she is rich in content. But yeah, the homeless population absolutely booms. It's the third most in the country, right behind Los Angeles and New York City. And a half of people in Seattle make less than $50,000 a year, with the cost of a family of four at about $76K, which is just an escalating inequality that's happening there. Amazon also, at this point, the way they're hiring people, it gets incredibly bottlenecked in a certain way. Amazon stating that they only hire about 1% of the people that they interview, and they are primarily white men in their 30s. That is the biggest population, hands down, that they employ.
What is a group of white men called? Amazon.com.
Jake, I'd like to give you $1 billion. I'm here from the internet, and I have all this internet money.
Yeah.
You wrote the ultimate joke.
The other thing
It's over after this.
The other thing they start to do is they really start to like dig their tendrils into like the underpinnings of like how a city works. Essentially, like they start doing data collection on the Seattle area. For example, Seattle Amazon's campus is right around the Mercer exit on I-5 in Seattle, Washington. It becomes a huge bottleneck for traffic. And they start keeping data on how long all this stuff happens, how long it takes, how long people get there, how much the traffic is. But they don't share it with Seattle. They just are like, nope, it's ours. Just in the same way that Uber is like, yes, we do have data for all of the things that we do. And like municipalities are like, please help us know how we can work with you and the cabs and everything. And they're like, absolutely not. We will not do that.
They're keeping their own information out of the public's hands.
Uber's another company that's doing the exact same thing, where they just are operating at a massive loss every year on just the pretense that like eventually when we can just jack up the prices or whatever, they'll make it all back. But it's like still at a loss. It's insane.
To think one cokehead had a business idea 10 years ago that was just like, cars! And then, you just have to deal with it forever.
Yeah, no, it's a real tragedy of the commons situation, essentially, which is basically this, I think it's like a logic, it's not a puzzle, it's just, it's a logic explanation where it's like, if you have like a bunch of farmers, or if you have 4 farmers, and they all have their own private land, and then there's one public space, it's that if they all just graze their own cattle on the one public space, then the public space will die, essentially, because it's being overgrazed. That's kind of like what Amazon and Uber and stuff do, because like Uber is just like, we're not a car company, we're just a technology company. It's like, okay, well, your technology company happens to dramatically alter traffic in New York City every single day, to the point where it's like, there should be almost a tax on roads because you guys would be paying most of it. Like it's
right.
Yeah, and Amazon starts doing the same thing. They just absolutely start buying up buildings in the South Lake Union area. By the way, South Lake Union Transit, that's the slut baby.
Nice.
I know, right?
Wait, is that
South
thing?
Lake.
No, I get it. but is it
Yeah. We
on-
do have a streetcar in Seattle called the Slut.
Is it on like the side of the car and shit? Does it say that?
I think it's in South Lake Union.
It doesn't say slut.
I mean, it doesn't.
People know. Dude, we're reclaiming the word slut. Egg Slut is a popular restaurant now.
That's true.
And it's like probably the most disturbing combination of words you could put together.
Don't slut shame my train.
My eggs.
My egg.
Yeah, they actually they dig up so much of the South Lake Union area that they uncover a mammoth tusk.
What?
yeah. There's a lot of construction. It's really insane. Like they really have claimed that entire area. It's just theirs now. The only sort of good thing that's like a part of this is that the Seattle area has what the sort of political mindset that's known as the Seattle process. Now, most tech companies, they want to move fast. They want to get their ideas done. Boom, 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 boom. They want to have that all happen. Amazon wants that to happen. That is the exact opposite of what the Seattle mayor and representatives want to do. Essentially, like they had like people like Milton Friedman and Jeff Bezos. Their whole principle of like disagree and commit, make a decision, move, and then Seattle's like, well, government is a series of laws, and the government interest should necessarily be secondary to private interests, deliberately slow to protect people from danger. It's
Why does Seattle talk like Philip Seymour Hoffman in the movie Happiness?
Would you
when
fuck? I want to fuck. Somebody fuck me in my ass.
Who's fan?
I am your it takes us a while to get things done in Seattle. There's earthquakes that happened there. The Seattle Viaduct was a big problem for a long time because it essentially started falling apart. It was like an expressway, but people were just like, oh, we'll take care of it eventually. I mean, that combined with the fact that a tunnel boring machine essentially broke underground for a long time, and they had to like, oh no, we gotta get our tunnel shit out of here before we take down this broken expressway. There's a lot. Seattle moves way slower than New York. I'll put it that way.
It is kind of how New York is reacting to climate change, though, of just like, well, we know for a fact this whole thing will be underwater if we don't do anything about it in 10 years, but there's this big drill stuck underground.
Yeah, dude, I don't think I'm going to move away from Battery Park because that's where my favorite hot dog stand is.
Andrew Yang's just on top of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, he's like,
You fools!
I told you to seek higher ground. And amidst all this happening, this is when, perhaps you recall it, the famous New York Times article about Amazon comes out in 2015. Quote, many of the newcomers filing in at Amazon on Mondays may not be there in a few years. The company's winners dream up innovations that they roll out to 250 million customers and accrue small fortunes and soaring stock. Losers leave or are fired in annual cullings of the staff. Purposeful Darwinism, quote unquote, one former Amazon human resource director said. Some workers who suffered from cancer, miscarriages, and other personal crises said they have been evaluated unfairly or edged out rather than given time to recover.
It is the culling. We're having a meeting in the crying room.
Oh, yeah. They do midsummer shit in there.
Yeah.
Grab each other and scream at each other's faces about Amazon.
Yeah. Amidst all this, by the way, Jeff Bezos lives by a life of secrecy with how he conducts business at Amazon. It's his whole thing because every time he kind of just says shit, you're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, that's wildly unsustainable or crazy. Like, we kind of know it as like the everything store now, but he wanted to do that from 1994.
Right.
Like, he's just been building to like so he can kind of do what he wants now. Another thing
There's
here.
a real Ozymandias type feel to it.
Oh yeah, dude. If you try to hit him with a spear, will he bleed? I don't even know.
He's too smooth to bleed.
Quote, of all the management notions, perhaps the most distinctive is his belief that harmony is often overvalued in the workplace, that it can stifle honest critique and encourage polite praise for flawed ideas. Instead, Amazonians are instructed to, quote, disagree and commit to rip into colleagues' ideas with feedback that can be blunt to the point of painful before lining up behind a decision, unquote.
My Amazon warriors.
And I would also mention, everybody always is like, Jeff Bezos, he's such a smart guy, though. Why would you not? You got to follow him. And something I would like to dispel right now, and I will get into more in the Jeff part specifically. He's smart. I would even say he's a genius. He doesn't have the best ideas all the time.
No.
The first name for Amazon.com was Make It So.
That sucks. That sucks ass.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you imagine having to use "Make It So" every day of your life to survive?
Yeah, and it's because he's a huge Star Trek
I was gonna
nerd.
say that's Star Trek shit,
Yeah, he's
right?
a huge
Make it
Trek.
so,
Trek.
Is that like Picard? He's bald.
Yeah.
bald. like
Oh,
Picard.
that's what the fuck he's doing.
It's like he's the captain of Spaceship Earth.
I never put it together.
He does this shit all the time. Quote, we always want to arrive at the right answer, said Tony Galbato, Vice President for Human Resources, in an email statement. Quote, it would certainly be much easier and socially cohesive to just compromise and not debate, but that may lead to the wrong decision. Company veterans often say the genius of Amazon is the way it drives them to drive themselves. If you're a good Amazonian, you become an Amabot, said one employee, using a term that means you have to become at one with the system.
Oh, fucking
no.
robot.
Yeah.
Man, hang on. I'm kind of stuck on this Make It So thing. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It sucks that specifically the people that revolutionized all the shit that we use now are these fucking nerds, because that means we have to use their lame ass language about everything.
Yeah.
So like, you know, when you want to install a program in your computer, it's like the setup wizard has arrived. Why is it called a wizard? Fuck you, man.
Because he knows all.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sucks. It's like this weird.
Answer my riddles 3 and install PowerPoint for ye.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be the setup wizard for Halloween.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'm just going to put like one of those pop-up boxes and wear some robes and like a star hat. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it's because they're like resentful people, it's like a chip on their shoulder. Then like they insert their lame ass language into everything, and then work so hard.
Yeah.
like spend decades making it to where that they are like their stamp goes on to shit.
Yeah. It's a part of culture. It's one of those things where I used to work for a tech company. I'm not going to say who because I signed an NDA. And I can't even do it in a satire. I can't even say it in a satirical way. Not even
as
satirical
parody.
Yeah, not even as parody. But yeah, something that people would say a lot. I was like, yeah, ping me. Make sure you ping me.
Yeah.
Ping me. Ping me. Why don't you?
Ping me.
We'll circle back on this.
Ping
and
me, circle back.
Yeah.
Ping
Well,
me,
yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Meet me in the cry room.
Yeah. We'll circle back on this. Cut to somebody fucking someone in the ass.
Danny used to work for Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
Hey.
Xi Jinping me.
Is this on?
Quote, when you're not able to give your absolute all 80 hours a week, they see it as a major weakness. A former human resources executive said she was required to put a woman who had recently returned after undergoing serious surgery and another who had just had a stillborn child on performance improvement plans.
Wow.
Accounts that were corroborated by a coworker still at Amazon. Quote, what kind of company do we want to be? The executive recalled asking her bosses. So, I mean, it's just like the company culture is absolutely fucked. It's totally and utterly fucked. Also, whenever anybody tries to like attack Amazon from a financial point or be like, pay what you need to pay, they they send like a smear attack on it. There was a huge deal. No, like this is
What is a spear attack?
a smear attack.
Oh, he's a spear attack.
Yeah, I heard
Spear.
spear attack.
Like, is that an Amazon term? You got really into Amazon shit after Star Trek?
No. There was like a situation where about a year ago, Seattle tried to implement a thing where it was like, yeah, if you make over X amount of dollars, like, several million, like if you make over $100 million in profit in a year, you have to pay more. You have to pay towards this homelessness fund because homelessness was made so horrible.
To the river of human suffering outside your office, you
Yeah.
pieces of shit.
Yeah. And then Amazon and it was like explicitly directed at Amazon and like maybe Microsoft, but like mostly Amazon. And
Microsoft got like a U2 look.
yeah, and then
And then
Amazon.
Jeff Bezos was like, Geordie LaForge, data, batten down the hatches, the homeless are coming. Yeah. Shoot them with lasers.
Set phases to neglect.
But there was a whole thing with that, and then Amazon basically pressured the city, just being like, "You're not gonna fucking do that," like a mob boss. And then the city was like, "Okay," and then like just stop this tax to like be like, "You displaced all these people, all of them."
They're just openly more powerful than the city of Seattle.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Wow.
One of our finest cities. The city where Godzilla's going to kill himself
Yeah, with the space needle.
using the space needle.
Yeah. A couple things here.
Danny has to take a pause while he eats more fly spaghetti.
As you know, this other part that I'm sort of like moving into is basically like how the very rich have changed Seattle in general.
We are at an hour. If you guys want to take a break anytime soon, like
Ooh.
half, you do that.
How's it? How far in the outline are you?
We'll take a break after I say this one thing.
All right.
You'll love this one thing. Essentially, the thing is, people are like, all right, so there's more homeless people in Seattle, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's the big deal? Like, you really want to make take a very like harsh stance on it. And my argument would basically be like, well, the rich suck. Their culture sucks. Everything about them sucks. All right. When they come into places, things get suckier. All right. Everything gets more of like a headlight on it. Forbes at the time was just started rating Seattle the second coolest city, with the metrics being based off of the number
of fuck rooms.
the number of microbreweries and museums.
That sucks.
I know. No. And there's actually, when you have rich people moving into rich places, you get like rich suburbs and stuff like that. And this is the story that I think I'll end on in this half of it anyway. At this point, there's a place across Lake Washington, which is right across from Seattle, in Bellevue, or Medina, Washington. Medina is really, really rich. It's a really, really rich place. It's like where Bill Gates lives. It's kind of like Martha's Vineyard. Just imagine it's that.
But it's not an island?
No, it's not an island.
Damn, dude.
At one point in time,
Medina.
Medina. I love my wife, Medina.
That's so fucking dumb.
In Medina, essentially, there's a story. This is in the recent history. There was a guy who was jogging, just going on a morning run, essentially, and he saw this really weird car. Saw a very interesting car, black as night, really old Mercedes-Benz, and he's like, "Huh, that is that is a very mean-looking car. Like that, like, and not like nice ride, but like, wow, what a car." Takes a picture of it, goes back. Goes back to his house, tries to visit later. Car's gone. Turns out the car was Hitler's fucking car.
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Look at this thing.
Holy shit.
Look at this thing. It's so mean
That
looking.
looks like Hitler's car.
It looks like Hitler's car. Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
How did
Yeah.
it get to Seattle?
We don't know. This is a 5-ton armor-plated vehicle with hidden compartments for Luger pistols, right hand up in the Nazi salute. And there's confirmations of pictures of Mussolini and Hitler riding in this car. And it was just in Medina, like it was just in this very, very. Oh, by the way, 7.7 liter inline eight-cylinder engine.
Nice. What do you got in there, Hitler?
Yeah.
What's under the hood?
A Mercedes, a Mercedes-Benz 770K grosser. And this car, it just showed up in a rich place. Now,
Bumper stickers on the back and shit.
Yeah. I do not brake for. I only brake for the chosen people.
Coexist.
Yeah. Imagine world peas.
It's a bunch of shit that sucks.
or
Drop kick Murphys.
Yeah. And look,
Hey now.
I know I'm sort of casting a wide net when I say like, Amazon caused Hitler's car to show up in Seattle, but I do think it is worth noting that the culture of the very rich in general absolutely sucks balls. They make everything worse. They make living around them sucks. They make the property value fucking absolutely skyrocket, and shit like this happens. Just like something you could honestly argue is like maybe even a little offensive. It's just like, oh, and it's like this car has no reason to be there. It would disappear. Somebody basically predicted it's like, well, Seattle's a port city. This car came from like a Russian auction essentially. So somebody who's like in Medina was like, I don't know if I want to buy Hitler's car, but I'd like to take a peek first.
I do love a Hitler, but we're gonna have to see the specs before it commits.
I gotta kick the tires a little bit.
What are these? Made out of Jews?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, you just kick it and just sort of like the turn signal is just like like a little hot.
Is a leather interior human skin?
Yes. Oh, it only plays Wagner on the radio.
It plays the Munsters theme.
Yeah.
Drive.
It was the Monster Mash. Point being,
Ride with the bitches in the back of my Hitler car.
Point being, it is like absolutely in the realm of possibility that just some rich fuck was like there to be like, yeah, show me the car, and then they can go. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't happen in poor communities. Shit doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in Bushwick.
Dude, that'd be so funny if it did, though.
Yeah,
If
I know it
ended
would,
up
right? Yeah.
In like Southern California, and they turned into a lowrider.
No, over here it would
on
just be
hydraulics and shit.
you just see some guy like in Hitler's car, and you hear just like,
No más gasolina.
Look at the back seat. There's a standalone speaker strapped in with a seatbelt.
yeah. Oh, there were no seatbelts. Yeah. So, but we'll continue soon.
All right.
Yeah.
To be continued.
More Amazon next episode.
Woo!
You want to do plugs?
Oh yeah. You can follow me at Danny Phelps cross-platform. Yeah, Instagram is the one I'm the most active on, and yeah. Let's see. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I don't tweet very much these days, but I'm on there. I'm watching.
I don't know. I'm just part of it. I'm just happy to be here.
If you want to like hire me to do your voice acting work, you should let me do that because I'm on a real tear lately.
Yeah, Danny's great at voices.
Oh, and here's a little taste. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Wow, I feel like I'm really in the game right now.
I feel like I'm watching a real commercial.
Yeah. So yeah, hire me.
My plug is to book Danny as EA Sports. If you need an EA Sports in your game, definitely hire Danny. That's my plug.
That's your plug?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I have a bunch of shit to plug. I'm going on tour. We're starting in Los Angeles. I'm going to roast battle my friend Sarah June, and then we're going on tour. So that starts at the Comedy Store. I'll be doing some other stuff around town, Chatterbox, a couple other things. And then after that, we're going to San Francisco, Santa Cruz, Oakland,
Go banana slugs.
San Jose, Arcata, Salem, Olympia, Seattle in my special car, and Portland, and then I'm coming back down with Mishka Shubali through like Denver, Fort Collins, and a bunch of other places, Austin, Texas after that. But I wanted to specifically plug these individual cities, because if you're in Santa Cruz, Arcata, or Salem, I think these are the cities that we have weird shows in, or you're in Portland, and you listen to the show and you want to come hang out and watch a show, like, hit me up, like, fucking, tweet at me, email me or whatever, because I specifically am trying to figure out, like, from the ground up how to get these shows kind of filled. These aren't in venues. Like, some of these are like house parties and shit. So don't feel weird. You can straight up just email me and we'll coordinate, like, where and when everything's gonna be. Because like Firebrand Collective is like a fucking anarchist collective.
Where's that?
This isn't at like the Go Bananas, bullshit Funny Bone or whatever. I don't remember where the venue is going to be, because the collective itself is not the venue. It's a
Is it in Humboldt County?
I don't know. But I'm sure all these people can tell me. I know someone from in the Arcata show is going to be a Humboldt person, I think. I don't know. Anyways, all this shit will be on my website and on my pinned tweet. Flyers going up soon, but fucking for real, come hang out. It'll be fucking tight. I'll have all sorts of cool stuff. We're making bandanas and shit. It's gonna be fucking badass. That's it. Yeah, tour. I'm gonna be in DC this Saturday. Look at me on Twitter for that.
District of Coolness?
The District of Clownness.
Uh-oh. Bring the car.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.